Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Pranam Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim evam Manoduhitaram munihi Dayaluho Shalinim aha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim evam Mano Duhitaram Munihi Dayaluho Shalinim aha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim evam Mano Duhitaram Munihi Dayaluhu Shalinim aha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran
Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim evam Manoduvitaram Muni Dayalu Shalinim aha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran
Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim evam Manoduhitaram munihi Dayaluho Shalinim aha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran
Maitreya Uvacha
Nirvedavadinim evam
Manoduvitaram Muni
Dayalu
Shalinim aha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran
Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim evam Manoduvitaram Muni Dayalu Shalinim aha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim evam Manoduhitaram Muni Dayalu Shalinim aha Shukla Bhivyahritam Smaran
Maitreya Uvacha Nirvedavadinim evam Manoduhitaram Muni Dayalu Shalinim aha Shukla Atya Akritam Smaran.
Shukla Devyartam Smaran.
Maitreya,
Maitreya.
the great sage Maitreya,
The great sage Maitreya.
Vacha,
Vacha.
said,
Said.
Nirvedavadinim,
Nirvedavadini.
who was speaking words full of renunciation. Evam,
Evam.
thus,
Thus.
Manoho, of Swayambhuva Manu,
Swayambhuva.
Duhitaram, to the daughter, Munihi, the sage Kardama, Dayaluhu, merciful, Shalinim, who was worthy of praise. Aha, replied, Shukla, the Lord Vishnu, Adhivyahritam, what was said, Smaran, recalling. Translation. Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the great, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows: Swayambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. The sage said, do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son. Yes, Supriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Kardama Muni encouraged his wife not to be sorry, thinking herself unfortunate because the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his incarnation was going to come from her body. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
You have undertaken sacred vows. God bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity.
Purport. In order to spiritually advance or to achieve the mercy of the Lord, one must be controlled in the following manner. He must be restrained in sense gratification and must follow the rules and regulation of religious principles. Without austerity and penance and without sacrificing one's riches, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Kardama Muni advised his wife, you have to factually engage in devotional service with austerity and penance, following the religious principles and giving charity. Then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you and he will come as your son. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
The personality Godhead with worship by you will spread my name and fame. Will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman.
Purport. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes to disseminate spiritual knowledge for the benefit of all people, he generally descends as the son of a devotee, being pleased by the devotee's devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the father of everyone. Therefore, no one is his father, but by his inconceivable energy, he accepts some of the devotees as his parents and descendants. It is explained here that spiritual knowledge vanquishes the knot of the heart. Matter and spirit are knotted by false ego. This identification of oneself with matter is called Hridaya Granthi. Exists for all conditioned souls, and it becomes more and more tightened when there is too much affection for sex life. The explanation was given by Lord Rishabha to his sons that this material world is an atmosphere of attraction between male and female. That attraction takes the shape of a knot in the heart, and by material affection, it becomes still more tight. For people who anchor after material possessions, society, friendship, and love, this knot of affection becomes very strong. It is only by Brahma Bhavana, the instruction by which spiritual knowledge is enhanced, that the knot in the heart is cut to pieces. No material weapon is needed to cut this knot, but it requires bona fide spiritual instruction. Kardama Muni instructed his wife Devahuti that the Lord would appear as her son and disseminate spiritual knowledge to cut the knot of material identification. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumalitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatahani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Satvaya Radhita Shuklo,
Satvarita Shuklo,
Vitanvan Mamakam Yashaha,
Vidvanam Misha,
Chetate Hridaya Granthim,
Chetade Hridaya,
Audaryo Brahma Bhavanaha.
Audaryo Brahma Bhava,
The personality Godhead being worshipped, I will spread my name and fame, will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman. So what is the topic today? Knot. K-N-O-T. Knot. Gant. Very interesting it is actually. You know, there are so many scenes shown. Sometimes it happened in this Gulf countries where one party takes over, then another party takes over. First thing they do is open the jails. And thousands of people will see running out of the jail. And people run out. So in Mangalore, the Kadri jail, you go and open the doors, you will see people running. They don't want to be inside. Right? They want freedom from this jail. So bhagenge nahi bhagenge. It happens sometime when two countries fight, and the first thing they do is they go and open the jail. And the people run out in thousands. So happy, liberated. True. But the funny thing is, material world, in this jail of the material world, we have not been tied by anything. Doors are open. Nobody wants to run out. Because the knot is not visible. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Devi Esha Gurumai Ma Maya Durataya. You cannot cross over the middle world. But what is the difficulty? You know? Doesn't like look dikta ek way. We are all knotted. Tepi Ishitam Tam Purudamni Baddaha. Prahlad Maharaj says, all of us are tied down by the tight ropes of Maya. Head, arms, legs, everything is tied. But we are not even conscious we are tied. Everybody is feeling I am free. Prabhupada says very nice example. Try to understand first this point. The knot. The invisible knot. Gat, adrish, dikh nahi raha, lekin phas raha. So see, is this a point you're getting? Is samajh aa raha hai point? We are tied to the material world, but the knot is not even visible. And all of us are feeling we are free. We are not free. Yet the knots are there, which are not visible. And not over knot. When we sometimes want to tie something, like Vidanga, you tie the rope, it should not fall. What do? One gant, then another over there, another over there, to see it doesn't break. And we are also tied to the middle world by knot over knot. It's very complicated mesh we are tied. It's not easy to disentangle ourselves. I'll give a small example. Prabhupada talks about the hippies. And he saw the hippies. They were trying to break the knots of the world, but not in a proper way. Just like there is Ukraine and Russia war. And there's some people in Ukraine and some people in Russia will not like the war. Not everybody is sold out to the country anyway. Correct? True. So like it happened in America, Vietnam war, and people in America, the youth did not like. And when the government, just like in Russia, they opened the draft board. Draft board means forcing the youth to join. The people try to run out the country. This is a patriotism. Wow, no way. The same thing happened in America. They say we are having a fight with Vietnam, so we need more soldiers. So they made a draft board. Youth have to compulsorily join the army. People created revolt. Anyway, there was a protest against the war, which people did not like. It was an unpopular war. The people went to streets in millions to protest. And finally, it took a shape of a hippie movement. People rejected the culture itself. They rejected the families, homes. They came to the streets and they were living in the gardens, parks. Okay. So they gave up their home. They gave up their job. They gave up all the comfort at home and food, everything which is available at home. ये तो बड़ा लगता है भाई, they are like liberated sannyasis, है ना? Sannyasi means what? He can give up all these things, no? But Prabhupada says, because he saw them, they could not give up sex life. Like animals, they were indulging in sex life on the streets. जैसे कुत्ते बिल्ली करते हैं ना. So Prabhupada laughs. You're trying to run away. Where you'll go, my dear sir? Here is your knot. They say, suppose you have tied somebody, okay? You're tied his neck with a rope and he's trying to run away. You tie the rope, where you will go? Come, because you are tied the rope. So similarly, we are tied by inwill. We are taught at my, but I develop more. Hare Krishna, the voice is okay because I'm using another system of the mic today. Same mic, but another option. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you. So we are all thinking that we are free. We are not free. We are tied. The ropes of so many knots of attachment to this world. We are tied. Invisible. And then first you have to recognize the problem. Aren't we tied? And this is explained one famous shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam. Pumsa Sriya Mituni Bhavametat. And a boy and a girl come together for sex. They say pyar ho gaya, but fact on the ground is why they come together. Pumsa Sriya Mituni Bhavametat. Tayor mito hridaya granthi ahu. And when they indulge in sex together, hridaya granthi ahu. I am yours, you are mine. I am yours, you are mine. Correct? ऐसे गाते हैं वो लोग, है ना? गाते हैं ना? Pumsa Sriya. Those who grasthas can understand. Brahmacharis will not, है ना? Or those who watch movies, बोलते हैं ना, मैं तुम्हारी, तुम मेरे, मैं तुम मैं. So, Tayor Mitho Hridaya Granthi Ahu. Then after that, Ata Griha. And the knot becomes knot over knot. Because a brahmachari can live in a temple very easily. And not only that, they can even go to a friend's place and live in one corner. Just like many times boys don't get job, what they do? They ask their classmate, you are in Bangalore, I want to apply for a job. Come. If he's a bachelor, not a problem, isn't it? One corner of the room, he can lie down. He doesn't need a private space. But the moment he enters Grihastha Ashram, he needs a private space that is called Griha, which he can lock. And he has private space. Correct? Ata Griha. So you need a house. And then Kshetra, because previously India is an agricultural society. Now, ideally, it should be an agricultural society. So now you need a field. You need a resource for your maintenance. Now you have to decorate your wife. There was one person I remember. He was in America. And He was my student at Manipal and he went to America. And every month he used to send me something like $500. I said, for what can I do? No, sir, you can use for flowers. The $500 of flowers. Very good. It was not only my flowers, whole ration was managed by that. A long time ago. It was same building, but only one building and little setup. Few of them. It was very easy. It went for 2 years. And every month it was like a lottery. $500 is to come. And small one line. Sir, use it for flowers. Very good. Then suddenly it stopped coming. So I got curious. So I went to his Facebook profile and clicked. He had got married. And I saw his wife. There were some 40 garlands of gold. 1, 2. Now that $500 or whatever dollars, he was buying one more new gold chain for his wife. She was like, just like we honor somebody, some 40, 1, 2, 3 gold chains. Now, Ata, Griha. So you want money like that, you have to work very hard. True? Previously, whatever he earned was surplus. He was donating here and there. Now that was short. Garland of gold over garland. Griha. Kshetra. Now you want expenses like this and you need a source of money. You have to generate money. You have to work hard. Griha Kshetra. In fact, one famous economist said that actually there is no impetus for working when somebody is a bachelor. Because his needs are very minimal. When he becomes a grahastha, he says that is the impetus for economic development, family life. Because then wants to work hard. Bachelor with little he can manage himself. But a family man, expenses multiply. So he needs a resource for maintenance now, very careful. Kshetra. As a bachelor, he can even live in a friend's place. He'll not mind feeding him. No problem. Many times it happens, boys don't get job, they come and sleep in your house. No problem. Feeding, you don't mind that. You can manage. But as it becomes a grahastha, it becomes you have to think, how you're going to maintain yourself. Griha, Kshetra. And then you need Suta. Without children, home is empty. So Suta, children. Ata, Griha, Kshetra, Suta, Apta. Then you need friends. Why do you need friends? Prabhupada says we need friends to come and tell how nicely you're managing. To glorify your so much your effort. So they are called friends. The rest are enemies. Ata, Griha, Kshetra, Suta, Apta, Vittai. And then money is sweeter than honey. I'm not saying. This is Shastra says. So the knot becomes knot over knot, knot over knot, knot over knot. It becomes very, very tight. Pumsa, Striya, Mithuni Bhava, Meta, Taryo, Mitho, Hridaya, Grantiyahu, Ata, Griha, Kshetra, Sutapte, Vittai, Janasya, Moham, Aham, Mameti. And this leads to the philosophy of I and my. From beginning, step by step, he enters family life, blah, blah, blah. And so, to unwind ourselves from the knot which we are implicated. Therefore, in the Vedic culture, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha. For the vanaprastha stage, he'll unwind himself from the knot, start unwinding himself. So, this knot, or one very interesting solution, spiritualize the grahastha ashram. Then also the knot will disappear. So idea is to take care of the knot. Doesn't matter which ashram you are in. Knot has to be cut. And how do you cut a knot? Suppose sometimes you go by flight. Knot is very common. Many of you are coming by flight. And if you have a suitcase, something, they will tie some plastic and they will knot it. Correct? It cannot be opened now unless you know the trick, or what do you do when you come back? You have the suitcase and the knot is there. What do you do? Now you look for a blade to cut it. Correct? You need some a simple example blade, but just take it bigger sword. You need some knife to cut it. So similarly, we are also knotted. And the knotting is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Dhyayate vishaya pumsa sangaste shubhajayate sanga sanjayate kama kama krodha vijayate krodhat bhavati samboha samboha sritime brahmaha prativamshat buddhinashat pranashyati. Dhyayate. The moment you look at an object for, contemplate an object for sense gratification, Maya sees you as a thief and punishes you by tying you down to that object. Just like somebody says, I'm enjoying cigarette, but actually he's not enjoying cigarette. He's knotted to that cigarette. He has not become cool by drinking cigarette. Actually, he has been knotted down. A bad habit has been cultivated and he's knotted down. So the moment you look at this world for enjoyment, the Maya tricks you and ties you down to this world. And we just like, what is the difference? We say liberated, mukta purusha, who is liberated? Mukta. Iyayasya haredasya karmana manasa gira nikilesha avastasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. Karmana manasa gira, by all his activities, by his mind, by his heart, everything is engaging in Krishna's service, he is liberated. So you need a knife to cut these knots. And how do you get the knife? By hearing from the Acharya. If a Prabhupada says, a person who is not following regulated principles cannot pull his disciples out even from the three modes, forget giving them a knife to cut the knot. Suppose you're very much tight. What do you need? You'll ask somebody, can you give me a knife? You can cut. Or another example, you can untie somebody when you are untied. Ab mere bhi haath phase hain, and I say, I'm knotted. You go to somebody and he's thinking he is guru who can help you. And what does he say? I am also knotted. So nobody can help each other unless we are. You got it? We cannot help each other till we are knotted. We cannot help each other. We can look sympathetically. Sometimes it does happen. We come to know some friend is there, some well-wisher is there, and he's in a great mental pain. You want to preach to him strongly and bring him to the spiritual platform and relieve him from the pain, provided you are not knotted. Your words will have no power to help him. Many times we see people suffering, but we are helpless. We cannot help them. Why? Because we ourselves are knotted. Our words have no power to elevate the suffering of the world if we ourselves are knotted. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Janama sarthak kari karo paromkar. First, you untie yourself. Now, my hand is tight and I want to go to somebody. I want to help you. That's good. But first, untie yourself. Correct? First, untie yourself. Find a way to untie yourself and then you can help another person. Otherwise, you cannot do anything. So, we want to help the world. The whole problem in the world is people are tied by knots. There is no other problem. It's like a jail. Doors are open, but nobody wants to go out. You tell people, come out, come to the temple, hear Krishna Nama, go back to the spiritual world. What? I tell you. Go to any place, collect 1,000 people. I will tell you all a way from which you can be liberated from all the knots in the world and go back to kingdom of God. People say, I am not interested. He is watching a movie. Somebody is watching some games. Somebody is busy in drinking, smoking, womanizing. Sir, we are not interested. People are not even knowing they are suffering because they're tied by the knots. We see the people walking on the street, everybody, they are tied by the knots. They are not liberated. And what is that they are tied by? Some small material desire. Very, very silly material desires. They are temporary material desire. Yehi samsparshada bhoga dukkha yonava evate Adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Bhagavad Gita says again and again, some material, temporary, small desire, people are tied down. We can see them in that condition. Anna, can't we see? But you try to approach them, sir, and I heard Bhagavad Gita class, your whole problem is that you're tied out by silly desires. I'll help you unwind. Sir, I'm not interested. So how? If somebody become interested, what you should do? Chalo bhai, we at least recognize I'm tied down by unwanted desires. What I should do? Yeah. What happened? Yad anudhyasina yuktaha. Bhagavad Gita says when you hear, you get a sword. You can cut the knots of material existence. You can cut all the knots of material existence. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Arjuna, arise. The knowledge I have given you, cut the, slash the knots of your attachment to the material world. Therefore, that word is used by a translation of renunciation through Vishnu. Cut the knots of material existence by hearing from the Shastra, hearing from the Acharya. Because the Shastra and Acharya had their spiritual potency in their words, that is the benefit. Now, how do you know you are hearing the right person? It's like Bhagavatam, very popular. Bhagavad Saptas are very popular. North India में तो मतलब भागवत सप्ताह के बिना प्रचार ही नहीं होता है ना. Now we are going to Jagannath Puri also. The big lodges are hired. Even the ones we have the resort. They told me somebody when sannyasi comes, he does Bhagavad Saptah. So how many people come? 10,000, 20,000, no limit. Lakhs of people go. But many a time, these Bhagavad Saptas are not conducted properly. Therefore, Prabhupada never did it. Never did it. And spoke against that again and again. Because those people come for Bhagavad Saptah, they themselves knot is not untied. Just like Prabhupada said, they go to the villages and speak Bhagavad Saptah. And people come, give them an umbrella, one shoe, no village what they will give. And they collect all that. And that is what he's focusing. So many Bhagavad Saptah people organize. They know he's a good speaker. At least 2 lakh Dakshina he'll get if I organize Bhagavad Saptah from him. They give him 1 lakh. 1 lakh they hire the rent and all and they make neat profit. It has become a business. When the whole objective, people, neither speaker is speaking to liberate people from the knot, and people are not coming there to cut their knot, they're coming to increase their knots. Like even we are going now to Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham. It is said in the Shastra, by once taking darshan of Jagannatha, you can be liberated from the world. That is the power of darshan of Jagannatha. What is the power? By once darshan of Jagannatha, you will not take birth again in this world. That is the power. But what is our objective? Jagannatha ji, please see that my child becomes get good job. We go to the Lord to increase our knots. Please see to it my material life and all the knots remain nicely. And so additional knots are put up. We go to the Lord to increase the knot. Not that. That's why we raise our hand. Untie my knots. Untie my knots. So that I can surrender. That's what devotees say. My dear husband, you are going now. What about the knots? My knots are still tied. Please remove all the knots. Give me a son who can liberate me from all the knots of material existence. Whom, by hearing him, by taking shelter of his transcendental words, I can be liberated from the knots of material existence. And that is the proof of a bona fide guru. In this perspective, if you test somebody coming to ISKCON, coming to any organization, there is just no comparison. Therefore, Prabhupada used to say, test my disciples. Somebody came to meet Srila Prabhupada. He said, check, compare my disciples with your disciples. Because there are so many spiritualists, they do not try to liberate their followers from the knots of material existence. Arise, awake, conquer. These are kind of rubbish they speak. They speak all this rubbish. They never even a hint That actually material existence is not meant for that. Uttishta Jagrata Prapta Varan Nimota. Shloka said something else. Something else you are teaching. You are giving a material angle to the whole Vedic knowledge. By hearing that, people do not feel inspired to cut the knots of material existence and go back to the spiritual world. We see no change in their life. They go give some big dakshina to that sadhu, so-called famous sadhu. And the sadhu in public will pat his back. So nice, so nice. He's also happy, sadhu is also happy. Not of material existence there where it is. Not ko ek inch nahi khula not. Waise hi tight or tight ho gaya. Some more he got attached to ahankar and other things, and more material existence is tied up now. But you see, Prabhupada was not at all. Not at all. In fact, there was Srila Prabhupada was talking in the very beginning of the movement to one goldsmith. His name was Goldsmith, where he was this lawyer, and Prabhupada was very powerfully preaching to him about Krishna consciousness. So anyway, so our principle is that the test of our spiritual advancement is called Jnana Vairagya. What is it called? Jnana Vairagya. Jnana Vairagya means how much attraction I'm developing to the Lord and how much Vairagya, how much detachment I'm developing from the material existence. And that shows how much the knot is becoming loose. And as for us, really, your knots of material existence start becoming loose, you start feeling real freedom, real happiness, real energy. Because now the mind, which has been tied to material existence, is getting freedom from that. And you know you came to the right shelter. When you take shelter of the Acharya, this is the first proof of that. Kleshagni, all our unwanted anxieties vaporize. Chetodarapanamardhanam bhavamahadavagnirvapanam. All the material anxieties are evaporating because the knot of material existence, knots which are tying us down to the material existence, are now loosening. And when actually this real work happens, person feels very happy and peaceful. Just like so much people can, they talk about this, this is happening, this person got converted from this religion to that religion. Are kya karna hai? Rassi to वैसे की वैसे ही बंधी हुई है. सिर में ठप्पा लगा दिए बस. ये ठप्पा वो ठप्पा. 4 नॉट थी अभी तो 6 नॉट हो गए और कुछ नहीं हुआ, है ना? नहीं होता. So these knots will not change away just by going from one system of religion to another system of religion, है ना? The knots will only go away when you take shelter of a pure devotee. Krishna Shakti vina na hoye parivartana. Unless you have a Krishna Shakti, you cannot untie anybody's knots. है ना? अपनी knots नहीं निकाल पाओगे, दूसरे की क्या knots निकाल, है ना? So our real essence is that practice Krishna consciousness and hear to the liberated Acharya. Hear Srila Prabhupada books. Hear his Vani, his Kirtana, his Katha from a liberated person. Correct? What we found in this moment, yesterday also telling, you have found a great advanced devotee. An interesting thing you were talking yesterday, he was not discovered by whole India, including his wife, including his son, including his god brothers. He was not discovered as a Mukta Purusha. He was discovered as a Mukta Purusha by hippies who were looking for something new. And they also did not know actually they're meeting a Mukta Purusha in the beginning. As they came near him, they observed very closely, they were the first people to discover a Mukta Purusha in this world is existing. Then they became mad. They could not believe his consciousness was totally free from any kind of material attraction. True? And they could hear submissively to the lion, just like when the mind becomes free from material existence, your words are like lion-like. They cut the disciples all affection, attraction, attachment. Therefore, sadhu, the word means it cuts. Acharya's words are so powerful. He cut. They were hippies. The knots for thousands of knots they had. True. Hippies mean normal life से भी जानवर का life. Knots 10 नहीं थी. The normal man has 10 knots, they have 1,000 knots. So many varieties of somewhat dragatics. So many difficult situations. Because he was powerful, because they were the first people in the world who came submissively to him out of good fortune. He untied the knots like this. Yeah. In fact, Prabhupada noted, he said, we're getting very good disciples from this hippie community. He noted that in the beginning. Not all were hippies, but I'm just a major section. They untied them, made sannyasis out of them, and they made them totally liberated. They could liberate thousands of people. Those people whose knots are removed, now they went around the world untying the knots of different people. They went to Africa, one team went to England, one team went to Australia. Why? They were feeling so confident. If your knots are removed, you can remove other people's knot also. No, you can see practically. Then you become so joyful. Apne hi bada hua hai, you go. It's like Prabhupada used to say, save your countrymen with tears in his eyes. What do? Untie the knots. But how you save them when your knots are, you can only cry helplessly, but you cannot help other person. So in this way, we see that the real spiritual advancement means, let us not get down into this grihastha, brahmachari, vanaprastha, this religion, that religion. Prabhupada was totally oblivious to these things. He did not convert a single person from one religion to another. He was totally above all this, not interested in all this thing. He was after real work, not superficial work. Like in India, if you meet people, many people are interested. They say, we want Hindutva to go in. They say like this, but they don't know how to do the work. And they don't know what to do the work. And they have no power to do any work anyway. Kuch malum nahi. You need a Mukta Purusha for that. You want people to be untied from the attraction to the material world. You want them to go back to the kingdom of God. It's not so easy. To do real work, Shakti Vina na hui parivartana. You'll be unable to do that work. There was we have told this way, Vallabha Bhatta, very famous, great, he became later a great Acharya, Vallabhacharya. He met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, originator of all the sampradayas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not only strengthened our own sampradaya, which is Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya, in fact, other sampradayas also. So Vallabha Bhatta later became an Acharya of the Rudra Sampradaya. So Vallabha Bhatta came to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to guide him to become more humble. He was a great personality, very, very learned. But as a guru who is guiding him to become more humble, so he asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can you tell me something about Krishna? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I don't know. See, we should be humble. I don't know about Krishna. If I want to know about Krishna, I go and hear Ramananda Rai. I go hear Sarava Bhattacharya. So Vallabha Bhatta was not a fool. He said, what are you talking? Around you, I see millions of people chanting Hare Krishna. Krishna Shakti Vina na hoy parivartana. When people are approaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will go to Gambhira. People in Jagannath Puri were coming to take darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just by seeing him, the knots used to fly in the air. They don't, even he doesn't have to speak. That's the definition of a pure devotee. See, you are tied down. So many knots of sickness. I don't want to come, but I'm forced to come. That is called a knot. Correct? So they used to come to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but just by seeing him, the knots used to disappear from their hands and legs. They're free. Mukta Purusha. And just by seeing, they go home. And the home they see, people see them. Just by seeing them, liberated people, the others also get liberated. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring South India, he was chanting Krishna, 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 hey. And people are looking at him. They're going home and they were dancing in Krishna Kirtan. They were just by seeing him, by hearing Krishna Nama from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mouth, people are liberated. The knots are thrown away. They'll go home and untie the knots of all family members. Correct? So this is very important work that we have to first untie our knots, identify. Therefore, unless we are introspective, we cannot advance the spiritual life. Material life means what? Proud. Everybody is proud. And you tell him some fault, sir, you're tired. Right? I'm Mukta Purusha. Nobody like to listen. But spiritual life means we are very introspective. We are checking. I've developed strong material desires. The material desires are embarrassing me. Tadarajastamo bhava kamalobhadayasche chete ete anavidam sitam satya prasiddhiti evam prasanna manasa bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavad tattva vijnana mukta sanga sajayate vidite hridaya granthi chitate sarva samshaya vidite hridaya granthi. So when Prabhupada is traveling to America, for what he went to America, now one more way look at. He saw the knots are there, I'll go and remove those knots. He went. And how to remove the knots, he was quite clear about it. Very clear about it. What? Sushoshaddhana seya vasudeva katha ruchi syan mahasya vipra punya shokanesha shanavatam sakata krishna punya shamana kirtan hridatho abhadrani vidunoti susatam nashta prayasha badresha nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloka bhakti bhavati naishaki tadarajastamo bhava kamalobhadaya echete ete navadam sitam satya prasidati evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavad tattva vijnana mukta sanga sajayate vidite hridaya granthi chitate sarva samshayaha. He knew the process will work by if they can hear it. That's all. Therefore, you see, Prabhupada to untie the knots of the world. Once they asked Srila Prabhupada, what's your plan? The plan is to change the way world thinks. It's a very big plan. And we want to untie all the people from the knots made by Kali Purusha. Kali Purusha, what it does? Ties it down with a knot. है ना? जैसे गाय को रस्से से नहीं बांधते घर में होता है ना? बांध देते ना एक में. So all of us are tired, but we cannot see. And what is the Acharya's plan? Untie all the people to the silly material desires and liberate them from the material existence and send them back to the kingdom of God. So that is what the plan is of the Acharya, and we should understand that. So how do we do? How do we do any work? Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Nimitra matrena bhava sachin, just become an instrument in my hand to untie the world from the knots of material existence. For what? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, who will adhere to him? Who will adhere to him? The dearest person. Nata tasmad manusya sukashit bhi prayakritama, who delivered the message of Bhagavad Gita to people. And what do the benefit of that? Person is untied from the knots of material existence. Even the 4th chapter, you see in the beginning, read the first shloka, the purport. Prabhupada says, what is the purport? He says the real business of the king is to untie the people from the knots of lust. Lust means desire for material enjoyment. And that is the root knot we have to this world. And that knot becomes bigger, 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 bigger. One over another. And you're totally lost in this knot. That aham mameti, I and mine. And within that life of just so many certificates, you see so many officers. They put their certificates on the wall, awards भी लगा देते हैं चारों तरफ, है ना? And see, either an organization, some college you go, or dean का office में आपको 50 award लगे रहते हैं, है ना? थोड़ा कुछ कहीं तो उसको A+ मिला हो या 4.9, 3.8 out of 4, one university has put, we got that much mark, A+ university. What we see is only knots. Knots of ahankara, knots of pride. Yeah. So that's all it is. We have to liberate the people from the knots that have tied themselves unnecessary. So much pride they are taking in so many silly achievements. A real achievement is actually untie us, just like in a slaughterhouse. Kasai एक एक करके आ रहा है and हर दिन किसी का सर कट रहा है. क्या हो रहा है? हर दिन किसी का सर कट रहा है. So in that slaughterhouse Kasai Khana, the real thing is if you can untie your knot and run away. Suppose गाय की तरह आपको बांधा हुआ है रस्सी से, and he is coming and cutting head one by one. That's like it happens in slaughterhouse. What do? One by one catch people, cut the head. But the person is tied, the animal is tied, can't do anything. We are also tied, can't do anything. So the real thing to do in such a situation, how to untie this knot and run away. Therefore, in the material existence stuck in, the only thing is our business is how to untie the knot of material existence. And you cannot do it yourself. When hands are tied, you cannot do yourself. You have to take shelter of somebody who can untie you. And how do they do it? By his words. Because this knot is not ordinary. The knot is subtle. है ना? Material jail को खोल दो, सब लोग बाहर आ जाते हैं, इधर तो बाहर भी नहीं आना चाहते. जेल खोल दो, खुला जेल है ना. ये क्या रस्सी बंधा है क्या? कृष्णा ने सबको बांध के रखा है क्या? दिख रहा है क्या? We are all criminals. True. जेल में तो रस्सी भी होता है, हथगड़ी भी होता है, क्या का लगा के मतलब चलने के लिए भी कूद के चलना पड़ता है. होता है ना? देखा होगा, मूवी में देखा होगा. फिजिकली तो हम लोग नहीं जाते जेल के अंदर. देखा ना, ऐसे बांध के रखते हैं कि चलना भी हो, कूद के चलता है. इतना मुश्किल होता है. But here we are tied down to the material existence. You tell people, you chant Hare Krishna and go back to the spiritual world. Not interested. That I am happy in material life. I am very happy. What's your problem? I am happy. Whenever you go to preach, some people who are very offensive, they say, why you are preaching to me? I am happy. I am happy. There was once somebody told Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, this man says he's very happy. He's not scared of death. So Prabhupada said, don't preach to him. So Prabhupada, why? He's a madman. कोई फायदा नहीं, पागल है. You cannot benefit. So in this existence of material existence, all of us are tied down by the knots of material existence. People are not even ready. You want to go? I will remove knot. No, it's okay. I'm enjoying it. The knot is very good. Very few people even understand the value of the word. Like by Krishna's grace, I was 20 years doing one work, going to youth and speaking Krishna consciousness. Basically, what you're trying to do, untie the knots. But nobody even encouraged or supported in the sense public. That's okay. Nobody came forward, gave donations or not. No. Going on bus ticket will be. They don't know how important that work is. People do not even know what is important. You want to do good, first you should know what is good. You want to do good to this world, people do not even know what is good in this world. The real good thing in the world is untie the knots of material existence. And therefore, Prabhupada is going to America. He carried his books. And he said, my Lord, I know holy name will do everything. He says, I have no knowledge. Why? I have full faith in the holy name of the Lord. And what he was doing, sitting in the parks and chanting Hare Krishna. And you see that 4 hours he was chanting. What he was doing, slowly untying the knots without even their knowledge. And when the knots of material existence are untied, a person feels blissful and liberated. You see them dancing like mad around Prabhupada. Pagal ho gaya khushi se. They don't know what I'm feeling, so much spiritual happiness. Therefore, Prabhupada, that's the power of the Hare Krishna mantra. Without even going to intermediate stages of Rajoguna, Tamoguna, just directly throws you on the spiritual platform and you feel an existence of freedom from material desire. You feel bliss of spiritual happiness and concomitant bhakti pareshanubhava virakti anatyasat. You feel freedom from material desire. And they were dancing so blissfully. And how was Prabhupada untying the knot? Just chant Hare Krishna. Shuddha Naam. Shuddha Naam. Pure chanting from the heart, call to the Lord. And people, ropes are thrown and they're feeling so blissful. So we should not forget our real work is to take people back to God, to encourage people. Yes, and how do we can? By getting strength from Srila Prabhupada's words. Hear a liberated person. Take a station of Srila Prabhupada. Totally liberated. There was once they were traveling with Srila Prabhupada, MF aircraft, and they're feeling, I told you previously this, the 2 devotees next to Prabhupada, they got up because he was very sick, so that he gets enough 3 seats, he can lie down and sleep. So Prabhupada lied down. They were just walking up and down. And then what happened? They looked at Prabhupada's face, smiling. They said, he's a liberated person. We don't have to feel bad for him. In any condition, he is a Mukta Purusha. Prabhupada said once, one day Prabhupada was very sick. So one disciple said, Prabhupada, how are you? Prabhupada said, do not worry. Maya cannot touch me. I cannot be tied down by any knots of Maya. Maya cannot tie. And therefore, he could very carefully, as there's a Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarvasiddhi, whoever came to Srila Prabhupada, he carefully untied the knots. That's what he was doing. He went to America for that purpose. In India, also, he was trying to untie, but nobody is interested. His wife was not interested. No, let us preach Krishna. No, I am not interested. In another room, she will drink tea. Never helped him in untying the knots of people. Yeah? His own God brothers could not understand. This man is very powerful. He can untie the knots of everybody. Even they were not encouraging him. He can. He knew he can do it. That's why he writes a letter to the President of India. I want to untie the knots of all people in the world, but I am all alone, crying alone in the wilderness. Please do not think that I cannot do it. Allow me, please. Help me so I can untie the knots of the whole world. And so that I don't only go back alone back to God, I want to take everybody with me. That's the letter. I want to take everybody with me back to God after I untie the knots. So give me some facility. Give me some facility. Help me, please. I'm crying alone in wilderness. I want to go back to God. I don't want to go back alone. I want to take everybody with me. So the Hridaya Granthi Ahu is to be untied. So for that, in different situations that happen in our day, every day, you can notice the knots of Maya. Still the stupid sex desire will not go. Still the desire for pride and recognition will not go. I was just thinking about recognition. Just I was talking, the world yesterday did not recognize Srila Prabhupada is a Goloka resident. Nobody recognized. But when they recognized, the world benefited. Correct? We also seek recognition. Are recognize kar bhi kya fayda kya hai? Say when they recognized Prabhupada, great. They went to him, he untied the knots of the people. Correct? Liberated people in millions. Did the work which has not happened in the history. Like in the Bhagavatam, there is a talk about Narad Muni, the great sage, liberating one Mrigari. And that talk is so glorious because he's so sinful person. Still Narad Muni liberated him. Anna? But how many Mrigaris Prabhupada liberated? Unlimited. Correct? It's a great, if you know, Purana were written later, then the Prabhupada chapter really so big. Historic work. True? Historic work. So when he was recognized, he could do the work. Just like you're a doctor. And unless people recognize you and go to you, how can you benefit people? Even you know everything. So he knew how to liberate people, but nobody was coming to him because he was not recognized. So when he was recognized, he could do the work. Now we are all seeking recognition. I'm special. But even we are recognized, what is the use? We are ourselves tied by hand. Even if people come to you, there is no benefit we can do. So our seeking recognition has no value because we cannot do anything. Even if suppose we are recognized, million people go around us and they chant, ki jai, we cannot do any benefit to the people. So let us not waste our time seeking recognition. Let us focus ourselves. Just like Madhavendra Puri was in one temple. What is the temple? Where Shir Chor Gopinath. Actually, it is very near to Jagannath Puri, but still far. Cannot take you. Huh? 270 kilometers. Shir Chor Gopinath. The deity is there. Okay. Sometime. So there when he went, the deities recognized him. Deity recognized him and for him stole a spot of sweet rice. So let the Lord recognize us. Okay? And then Madhavendra Puri did not want recognition. A really person who deserves recognition, who's a liberated person, who's untied, he doesn't want recognition. So the Madhavendra Puri, what happened? He ran away from Ramuna to Jagannath Puri because he knows that day now public will recognize it because a miracle has happened. Or millions of people will come to the place where he was sitting. That's what happened. They came next day. He had disappeared. Ran to Jagannath Puri. But there, when he saw Lord Jagannath, he was almost fainting because it doesn't need recognition. It's already having diamond of pure Krishna consciousness. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fainted, he was also feeling intense ecstasy or dancing in ecstasy in front of Jagannatha. Crowd was behind him. So real person doesn't seek recognition. Automatically the public recognizes him. Therefore, it is said we should never be self-advertiser and seeking attention, seeking recognition is not good. Automatically it will come. Do the real work. People will thank you for whole their life. Untie the knots of material desire that people are stuck in. People will not forget you and thank you whole life for that. Let us work for real work in this world. Then all this unwanted recognition automatically comes. And even if people recognize us today, we can do nothing for people because we are useless. Let us therefore untie ourselves from the unwanted knots of material desires. Let us work internally. Real work is internal. And when you can do that work, then you will be empowered by the Lord to actually untie other people from knots of material existence. And then that work is so blissful. Just like when Parikshit Maharaj asked Shukadeva Goswami, what should I do? Should I hear about Krishna? What should I do? Now my death has come. What is my duty? So what does Shukamuni says? Variya Meshate Krishna. So beautiful is your question. So whole existence will become beautiful when it is totally in the right perspective and aligned with Krishna's desire that he go back to his lotus feet. And just like Devhuti has taken shelter of Kardama Muni, let us take shelter of Srila Prabhupada. She is requesting him, please untie me from the knots of material existence. He's making an arrangement to give her a son who will do that. So similarly, let us pray to Srila Prabhupada to help us so we can untie ourselves from the material existence and do some real good work in this world. Otherwise, Prabhupada says, just dragged by sense desires as we are living today. What we are living for? Dragged by material desires, passing our seconds and minutes in this world. Prabhupada, what is this existence? Correct? We should introspect and see, kya kar rahe hain? We are just like घोड़े में बांध देते थे ना मूवी में और आदमी घसीटता चलता रहा ना, है ना? घोड़े को भगाएंगे and he is falling. So similarly, the material desires are dragging us. So what is this life? Embarrassing life. So let us not continue to be trapped by this kind of life and pray to the Lord, please free me from this unwanted desires so that I can taste the beauty of Krishna consciousness. I can taste the beauty of your holy name, of your beautiful form, and I can serve you. So let us focus that come out of the material desires, and then only we can do real good work in this world. Otherwise, neither we can help ourselves, neither we can help any other person. No real help any person is able to do in this world. Big propaganda, bam, they make, but they cannot help anybody, including themselves. So you want to take real help, go to the Acharya, untie yourself first. And then you can save the world and do something good in this world. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam
Krishna Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
Dandavat.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Ram.
So thank you everybody. Please keep chanting nicely. Hare Krishna.